and welcome to Fat Squirrel Speaks. Today is Tuesday, November 29th, and this is me. I am Amy Beth, also known as Fat Squirrel on Ravelry and the Fat SQRRL on Instagram. Welcome! Welcome to the hybrid holiday extravaganza that is my house. It is always the season of, I don't care enough to be super tidy, so thank you for being patient through that season, which is the season of my life. But also it is like I can't let go of the fall stuff, even though fall has fallen outside. So like my fall tablecloths are still out. But the giant lit tree is up, because hello, that's exciting and fun. So festive. So thank you for enjoying the chaos with me. Okay. This episode will contain embroidery, quilting, and knitting, administrative things. I hope to have a shop update, fatsquirrelfibers.com, on December 15th at 9 p.m. Eastern Time. It will be library bags. So if you've been with me for a while, I have done like the old school library cards where you signed out your name and then the librarian stamped it. Or sometimes you wrote your date in, but it's more fun when she stamped it. So I'm having those. It's a bag featuring those. I'll have both a white background and then the newer black background that I did in the most recent Yellow Springs event. So I'll have both kinds on December 15th. And then I think that's all the administration. So shenanigans. Did you shenanigan? I hope you got a long weekend. I had a lovely long weekend. I got to go and have yummy food at my mom's house. And even though this is the first Thanksgiving we've had where we didn't have my grandparents. So little grandma, that's what my teen calls them. My mamaw has been gone for a few years now. But this is the first year without Papaw. So this is the first year without them. Because they kind of have always felt like a unit. But it was really nice. My mamaw's baby brother came with his wife. So even though they weren't there, it felt good to just have that generation still represented in some way. So I was really appreciative of that. Because we have a really small family. It's just like my mom... small family like that's local and able. Well, we have a small family anyway, but so it's just basically my mom, stepdad, me, my partner, my teen. So it was really nice to have an older generation represented. It was lovely. It was a giant. My mom did much better on her pies. They were not like a pie plus for each person, right? Go mom. Oh, by the way, I didn't mention last time, and I should have, that this quilt is my mom's. I did not make this quilt. My mother made this quilt for me several years ago and gave it to me as a Christmas gift. It's a pineapple quilt, and it has very tiny pieces. I do believe that she used the foundation paper piecing to make it because it's super tiny and super precise. And it's great, right? But I just wanted to clarify that I did not... That is not my work. That is my mom's. Oh, but my mother also made a German chocolate cake. It was like fully, I think it was like 14 inches tall. It was ginormous. Like, I don't even know why I didn't measure it with my phone now that I'm thinking about it. Like, why do I even have an iPhone if I'm not living this life of cake measuring? Ridiculous. Like, it was really like, I took a piece that was like this wide and it was still enormous. It was like 4 other pieces of cake. It's ridiculous. But it was very delicious. But anyway, so then we just kind of had like a chill weekend. We put up the tree. Oh my gosh. Y'all. The teen is graduating from high school quite early. And we're still not sure what's happening next year. Like, I'm not sure if there's going to be, like, what's happening. But it's possible that this could be like the last year that they're permanently living at home. And so like I had that realization as we were putting up the Christmas tree, and I was just like, I wasn't like weepy or anything. Like I wasn't like, whoa, 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 whoa. I was just like, what? is that even possible? Like, it was more of just like a, what? But I never, like, I mean, they're always going to have to put up the tree with me. Like, I don't care if it's via Zoom and like LiDAR or the 3D reality thing. I don't care. It's going to happen. But yeah, like that was a very strange realization, y'all. Weird. Very weird. But anyway, it was still fun because even though, you know, they're like a rough, angsty teen, they still get very cute and reminiscent about putting up Christmas ornaments, which I highly enjoy. So yeah, so we did that. We did a little bit of decorating. We don't decorate the outside of the house. Like, I'm just not that. We don't have outdoor plugs, and for some reason that to me is like the line. Like, I'm like, oh, that's just too crazy. We to like run a cord into the house. It's clearly just too much. Also, to be honest, we just never go in the front of the house. Like, we only go in through the back door. So I'm just like, why would I fancy this up for other people? I don't even know if I like them. But mostly it's really the plug thing. I know, right? That's so weird. I know you can get like solar lights. Yeah. Also, I will be honest with you. Every year I go to Target and I want that stinking Brontosaurus. There's like that light up, like, Brontosaurus. Every year I'm like, maybe this is the year. No! Still no electric outlet outside. No! If that's the only thing that keeps me from buying that, that's okay. That's probably a good thing. But I did that. I went to a little Christmas we're having downtown in Indianapolis. There's a historic building called the Athenaeum, and it kind of has, it's got kind of a courtyard-ish kind of thing happening. And so they're having this little Christmas market in the little courtyard. And I kind of thought it was like, oh, it's kind of supposed to be like sort of like a Germany kind of Christmas market. I thought, oh, that'll be fun. It's very close, you know, I could ride my bike. I just ended up going with friends, so we drove. But it's like, it's in a nice area where you can like do some walking and window shopping, and it's just like, oh, that'll be a fun, cozy vibe. I was incorrect. I knew there were only like Christmas, like I think there were like 8 Christmas huts. And I think the majority of them, I guess, were makers. Because there was like a pottery one, a wax one, there was like a jewelry one. There were several makers. But I think the main focus of this Christmas market was just to drink and listen to live music. And like, I'm just not that gal. It was way too loud. And like, I was not drinking, which made it like extra loud. And it was like 2 o'clock in the afternoon. Like, it is too raucous. And like, it's not like there were a bunch of like drunken people. It was just like very, very loud. And I just can't handle it. It's too much for me. But it was a cute idea. It just was like it just wasn't for me. But I am excited because they had this place there, which I wasn't even I didn't know to look forward to it. It's called Wax Traditions. They do hand-painted German-style ornaments. They do have an Etsy shop. But they had the Springerly, whatever, the Springerl molds, the cookie molds. So like the old molds that they used to make like gingerbreads and cookies and stuff, like not, I guess, gingerbread, but like ginger cookies, like the press molds. Like this was like an old thing. They used to do them. They were wood originally, and then they became wax because that was easier to produce. And then there was like a revival of them, I guess, in the 50s, like as like a nostalgia thing. I don't know. But I have one that I bought, it's gotta be 16 or 17 years ago at a craft fair. Or an arts fair. I don't know. What's the diff? I've had it since I bought it in Cincinnati somewhere. And it's birds and I love it, but I've never seen them again in person. And I've looked them up online. You can totally buy them online, but I don't know. Sometimes it's just like trying to buy old stuff online is like I really want to roll these dice? And they're not even necessarily old. Like, these are totally just wax impressions that have been done. They're not old. But like some people pretend they're old when they are not because they kind of look old. Anyway, whatever. They had them. Now they had the more traditional, like hand painted, like the wax relief ornaments. Those are like their main jam. But this year they also had these, which I was so excited about. So, okay, I'll show you this one first. So my other one is this color wax. And so it's got like all of the little peoples. My favorite one is this bird, though, that is fishing. I love him very muchly. See, up here. And like, I'm going to pretend this is a bear fishing. I'm just going to pretend. But like, is he like, yeah, like, let's hammock together, y'all. Let's hammock cookie. So I totally need to like actually make cookies from it. Well, actually that might not be safe. I need to get some like Play-Doh or something to see exactly what the reliefs would be. Just because that's fun. And sometimes you can't really tell. Again, I'm like, that's clearly a bear fishing. I don't think it's supposed to be a bear with a fishing pole. But like, what is this one? I don't know. Anyway, so, and like, I'm like, are these people playing tennis? Like, what is happening? But it's still very enjoyable. But then the one that I'm like, okay, I was very excited about that one because again, it's more traditional. Like it looks like but look at this one. Right? Ah, shut up. I love him. For one thing, when the teen was little, they had a book called We Are the Wild Boars or Meet the Wild Boars. I can't remember. It was a story, like a little picture book. Not little, it was a picture book. And it was all about wild boars and like how crazy they were and they were doing all the things wrong. So that's like a fun little touch point too. But I mean, just look at how charming he is. Are you in love with him or what? Oh, so cute. Oh, so enjoyable. So I didn't ask them if these are like food safe wax. I clearly was just buying them for decoration. But now I'm like, maybe I should send them a little email and ask. Because I mean, if I could have wild boar gingerbread, that's clearly what we should have at the next meeting. Just saying. So yes. So that was like kind of a flop, but also I told my friends, I was like, thank you so much for coming with me. Because my original plan was to go just to bike there with my husband, and he would have not been amused. That was a weird grammatical sentence. He would not have enjoyed himself at all. It would have been a bit of a mess. But so I was very thankful that they went with me. And that they were, oh my gosh, what would I have done if they were like, no, let's drink and listen to this pseudo polka. It wasn't, I would have been bad. Thank goodness they were not on board with that. I didn't even think about that. Could have been terrible. Oy. But so yeah, so overall, just like a very restful weekend. I had that level of rest that on Sunday at like 4 o'clock, I looked at my watch. I was like, oh, it's only 4 o'clock. And it was like just this like, because usually I'm like, oh my gosh, sorry, 4 o'clock. Like I'm like a toddler who's crying that their weekend is almost. Toddlers don't care if the weekend's over. Who am I kidding? I'm like a teenager or a young adult who is crying that their weekend is over. Or, a person with a regular 9 to 5. So, yeah, like I don't adhere to the weekends anymore necessarily for myself. Like I could make the weekend anytime I wanted for me, but like my family is still on a Monday through Friday schedule. Where did that come from? I don't even know. But basically what I was saying is, it's that restful that I was just like, oh, delicious. I hope you had a restful weekend too. Or if you didn't, that you get to have one very soon. You are owed a restful weekend, friends. You're owed more than a restful weekend, but at least in the moment, you're owed a restful weekend. I hope you can enjoy it. Okay, so let's get in. Oh, let me show you my one library book recommendation. It's not going to take a minute. It's not going to take but a minute. Oh, I should talk a little bit about, just to touch base. Last time I talked about gosh, I can't remember what the book was called. The Knowledge Gap. Woof. I talked about the knowledge gap. I do want to just clarify, just touch a point. I had a very lovely friend contact me just to, because he cares about me and he cares about my opinion. And he was how do you say that? What I said hurt him. That's where we go. What I said hurt him in terms of talking about teaching as a vocation. I said a little bit about teaching as a vocation. Let me just come back just to clarify for one moment that I don't think teachers should be like, I don't think that a teacher's education should be strictly vocational. I think it's very important that our teachers have a general, like, liberal arts-based education, if that's, if they're teaching in like elementary or high schools. Because again, the whole point of the knowledge gap is that we need to make sure our students that they do have those touch points and they do have that context within which to situate themselves in their learning. I did not mean to indicate that it should just be go to school and only learn. I am going to teach about Mesopotamia. I'm only going to learn about Mesopotamia and like the way that this scientist thinks I should teach it, or something like that. So I do apologize that was not clear in what I said. I of course love vocational training and think it's an amazing thing, and we've encouraged the teen to do vocational training. I don't know that that's where their path is yet. We'll find out. But I do think that there is a tendency to, well, again, like one of the things that the book talked about is how, in order to distance themselves from a vocational training, traditionally education in the United States, at least, colleges with education programs have tried to distance themselves from vocation, like to make themselves quote unquote more worthy of academia, which I have a lot of a problem with, that there's like this weird intellectual classism that happens in academia versus vocational training versus like whatever career field, job, calling a person wants to go into. Like, it is weird that we have it's not weird, but I think it's ridiculous that we have stratified those and put so much value on one over the other, or one field over the other, and that's just a big hot mess. But I do want to clarify that just specifically, I do think it's important that people in the education arts, in teaching and whatnot, have well-rounded knowledge, because again, I think that's important to the people that they're teaching. However, I do think it's important that they also have vocational learning, that they have a greater hands-on training in terms of like teaching, and that there are more scientifically tested, more more research-based, well-researched based educational tools that they can access, and that those are provided to them rather than just being like thrown to the wolves. I'll stop with the soapbox. I just want to make that clarification. Okay, so then the other book I would like to recommend is a totally different book. This is a book I just got from my library, and it seems like a perfect book for this time of year. It's called Beans, Peas, and Everything in Between. It's by Vicki Jones. And it's, of course, a cookbook. And I'll just read you the table of contents because it'll give you an idea a little bit of the variety. Soups, street food, salads, main dishes, vegetarian main dishes, side dishes and dips, and desserts. I'm not going to lie. I'm probably not going to use the dessert section at all. But I will say I have several bean-based cookbooks, like several. Okay, I have 2, maybe 3. But I found this one to be quite enjoyable. It has a really nice variety of international-based, it has a nice international variety. Oh my gosh, these words. This job I have. It's so confusing. And like each recipe has like the nice, lovely picture, and it's that matte paper. So enjoyable. So I don't think I will be buying this cookbook, but it has been a pleasure to look through. Oh, sorry, that was oven-baked Greek butter beans, which sound delicious. They sound sort of like pizza beans, if you've ever made those. And then like lentil moussaka. Like, look how beautiful. So I have not made anything from this. It has both metric and English measurements. So for example, the dried mung dal, there's 60 grams or a third of a cup. Like it gives you both information. But like, look at this one. Split peas with Ethiopian spices. Oh, I'm definitely making that. It's gonna be so delicious. So anyway, this is always the time of year that I'm like, ooh, yes, like everything needs to be stewy, soupy, brothy, bready, in a bowly. I don't want to eat off a plate until like March. Thank you very much. Oh my gosh, wouldn't that be like a wonderful winter goal? Oh, I need to live by myself. These people, I can't do that with these people. Oh, that's a retreat. Oh, I've been fantasizing about doing reading retreats. Have you heard of this? I didn't even know this was a thing. I was looking at Shaker Village in Kentucky, and they do, or Pleasant Hill. It's Shaker Village, right? Pleasant Hill, Kentucky. Anyway, in February, I guess, last year, maybe every February, I don't know, they hold a reading retreat. And then I looked up more about reading retreats. Dudes. Come on, let's do it. Right. I guess theirs is done so that you read a book, like the entire group of retreatees. Sorry, Gus is upset. Like, I don't know if it was a wild creature or or if it's just they're working on the lines in our alley, like the phone lines, and he is not pleased. Anyway, so reading retreat. So this one specifically that I looked at, like they collectively read a book, and then they have that as a discussion option amongst themselves. But then part of the retreat is also just like that you have this time to read. And like, wouldn't it be amazing? I love the idea of having like a retreat where there was no Wi-Fi or something like that. Like, cause I mean, let's be honest with you, I'm just going to get distracted. Hi, welcome to my life. But like a retreat where there's no Wi-Fi, and like, maybe you even just like give your cell phone to like a selected human, and then like only that human is like, oh, by the way, you have an emergency at home. Do you know what I mean? Like, right? Like you need like a designated emergency but, does that sound delicious? I don't want to let you out because you're just going to go yell out there. But doesn't that sound amazing? And then of course also people do their own retreat. Like just like, hey, I'm a person. I'm going to go to like an Airbnb for a long weekend or something. And just like, right? Like I would have to contact the Airbnb ahead of time and be like, don't give me your Wi-Fi code. Hide the Wi-Fi code. But yes, it's so delicious. And I read one woman's like her thoughts on it, and she wants to have a place that like has walkable like cafes or restaurants. Cause yeah, like you probably can't read, 16 hours a day all weekend. But like, so you want to be able to walk out and do something else a little bit. But have it still be reading centered, and like maybe there's a few good bookstores in that area. That's probably a lot to ask anymore. Oi. But doesn't that sound delicious? Let's have a reading weekend, Gus. A reading retreat. Basically, I just want to retreat. I just want to retreat. Like, let's retreat. But anyway, so if you have this book at your local library, I highly recommend giving it a look, because it just is just like so, it has like traditional recipes too. Like I think it has like the Senate bean soup, pottage Saint-Germain, French split pea soup, and Armenian lentil soup with apricots. It just looks so lovely. Okay, I'm gonna let this dog out. He's gonna bust a gut. But yeah, I don't know. If you got it for your library, it's a nice look. It's a nice peruse, if nothing else. All right, be right back. So then also for my library, I have to show you. Red and White Quilts, Infinite Variety, presented by the American Folk Art Museum by Elizabeth V. Warren with Maggie Gordon. Dudes. As soon as I opened this book, I was like, I must get this for my mother for Christmas. It's out of print, of course. And like the least expensive used copy is like $200. It's so beautiful. I can totally see it, but I was just like, that's a little steep. It's a little steep. But it is over 300 pages. Apparently the American Folk Art Museum had an exhibit of red and white quilts. And this was red and white quilts are particularly popular. I don't know if it's just in America. I don't know. But like the turkey red dye was introduced in the mid-19th century. It was color fast red and people just went bananas. And so there are just like a ton of red and white quilts. And so, do you see this? It's over 300 pages of just like picture after picture after picture of quilt. It's bananas. Oh, it's so gorgeous. So thank you, libraries. Thank you so stinking much. Oh. Anyway, it's gorgeous. So that's another great one to peruse if you would like to check that out. Ow. Check it out from your library. I'll be right back because now the dogs that wanted out a minute ago went back in. Okay, so that's all of the non-woolly stitchy stuff. Let's talk about woolly stitchies. Okay, so I have a couple of finished objects. Oh no, did I just bring one? Okay, somehow I accidentally just brought one of these socks, but there are two, I promise. Yeah, there's two. So I just finished some DK socks. This is DK from, oh my goodness, from Mustache Yarn. Right. I believe this is like the Twizzler sock pattern, which of course is written for fingering weight, but just a stitch pattern from the Twizzler sock. It's so cute. I'm excited. I have my, is it like Mordor Fun Run? I bought that skein last year to do as my Advent skein this year. Oh my gosh, it's almost Advent time. It's almost Christmas countdown calendar time. I'm so excited. I may have gone slightly overboard. I have my Joanna Spring Knitsman Farm Bat Vent. So excited. I have my Bit of a Puzzle Every Day. So excited. I have, don't I have one more? Then I got an Exit Room Advent calendar for the teen and I to do together. That was crazy. We'll see how that goes. I'm not sure. It's supposed to be like a puzzle every day. We'll see. And like my thought is that we can do them in the car on the way to school. Ah, so fun. So yay! You can see I forgot to start the stitch pattern until significantly farther up the heel than I really probably should have, but it's fine. So I do have two of those, I promise. I'm excited to wear them. Yay! DK socks. Then I finished the lambing mitts. I know, they're black. Guess who they're for? I finished the lambing mitts. These are Peace Fleece in their black color. I don't know what it's even called. The ball band has long disappeared. These are like my favorite mitts that I wear all the time. I really love, they're very basic. They're easy, they're fast, but they're very, very wearable. It's a free pattern from Tolt Yarn and Wool, lambing mitts. And they're made so that you can flip this part down if you need more dexterity. I haven't blocked them yet, so this top bit will loosen up. I like to knit that top hem though. I do not do a loose bind off because I do like it to not get stretched out and flappy. But if you want more dexterity, you can move them down. But really, I never fold them down because this is like your fingers are almost in a mitten. You can do this if you want them warmed up. But you can always, like, you know, find your keys and open doors and things. So lambing knit's the best. Takes less than a ball of Peace Fleece. And Peace Fleece, of course, is great. It's very durable. It's got some mohair content in it, so it holds up well. So there are those. And then, let's see, I don't think yeah, that's the only things that I finished. I did finish my husband's hat, but I don't have it. He's wearing it. I made the Seaman, from the Seaman Institute. What is it? The 1812? I'm just making things up. It's a free pattern. It's the 1898 hat by Christine Burns. And it's the one that has like the garter band, but it's doubled up and it has an ear flap. Well, my husband does not like things touching his ears. He loves to be cold. So I just made it with like the straight band and then the top. And I made it in like a rusty red eco wool. And he totally looks like Steve Zissou. And I'm very pleased with it. It's so cute. It looks so charming on him. This little Steve Zissou hat, which I guess is like technically a Jacques Cousteau hat, but you know what I mean. It's very charming. It's so cute. So hopefully, I mean, I think he's actually wearing it. I'm like looking around to see if he switched it out for his other one, his like grimy ancient one. But I think he actually is wearing it. He might just be wearing it like when he gets home to pretend he's wearing it all day, but whatever, it's fine. I did knit a little bit more on my Voe vest. So it's VOE vest by MJ Mucklestone. I just split for my steeks. Like literally I have one row of steek. And then I put it down because I was just like, I had to decrease in pattern. Not today, Satan. Not today. Decreasing in pattern, man. I mean, it's how we always did things in the olden days. Nobody ever charted out your decreases for you. Ever. But I've got spoiled by all these lovely modern designers who... like, oh, I have to look at it and figure out what to do next. But, so I just have that left to do. And it's DK. So this is Jamison's, not Jameson and Smith, Jamison's in their DK, as well as the brown is the Fiber Company's Lore. Which I really like. I think this is the first time I've used their yarn, if I'm not mistaken. And I really enjoy it. But yeah. Let's hold it up for a little bit longer, shall we? Maybe we should. And I'm just using the called for colors. Can you tell I've been watching cross stitch videos? The charted colors. I'm just using the as written colors, except for the brown. Okay, so there's that. And then I started on a Quaker yarn stretcher. Is that Susan Ashcroft? Am I just pulling that out of the ether? Quaker yarn stretcher. It is Susan Ashcroft. I've knit several of these. They're very enjoyable. If you knit one when she first put the pattern out, it was more confusingly written. I guess that's a good way to say it. It's probably a very confusing way to say it. She has since rewritten the directions, and again, she rewrote it several years ago. But if you tried it when it first came out, and you were like, "This doesn't feel as intuitive," she did reformat it or rewrite and it's much better. And so yeah, it's just some hand spun. I don't even know. Made this hand spun. I have no idea. I feel like it's Nest Fiber Studio, but I'm not sure. But so yeah, I'm just making one of those because that's an enjoyable thing to knit on. I was like, oh my gosh, I forgot how fun these are to knit. So that's a good not knitting on that vest I have to think about project. I also cast on a pair of socks. I cast on a pair of Partying It Up and Getting Down socks by Megan Williams of Stockinette Zombies. I couldn't remember what. So I've just started. I think I'm going to do them both as Partying Up. So this pattern is written so you can go toe up is Partying Up, and then knitting down is cuff down. But I think I'm going to do them both the same way. So this is some Regia Candy Color. And then I did a toe with West Yorkshire Spinners. Right, those are looking totally cute. My purling in sock is not great. That's why this is a little, there's short rows here to get yourself to a, whoop, to get yourself to the arch, to the chevron. So there's pearl in here. That's why it's a little warbly. My purling on tiny needles is not great. But isn't that cute so far? I need to start working more on it. But there's the back is just a plain. The sole is just plain. So you have like a nice rest, and then this is easy too. Like once you get the short rows done, this is very easy peasy. I think it's gonna be super sweet. So there's that. And then I have a conundrum. Well, not a conundrum. I'm not sure what to do with this. I have this beautiful yarn from another crafty girl. She is doing Emmett the Otter colorways, and they are all charming as heck. I think she's doing them soon. You should check it out. Another crafty girl. You can find her on Instagram. It's all the places. Or anothercraftygirl.com. I'm sorry, I'm still trying to figure out this new camera, y'all. So this is her All My Friends colorway. And there's like at least 3 other ones, I think, that they're all inspired by Emmett the Otter. Right. I'm all twisted up. And so originally my plan was to make this. This is Afghan crochet, hybrid crochet. And this is like a smocked stitch. So here it is in this yarn. I was just going to make like a small cowl, which is like a narrow one that's just a straight tube. But then I thought, wouldn't it be, maybe I should do it with some, she does this other colorway that's super great. This colorway is the Invitation. Isn't that just the most beautiful neutral? If you're looking for a neutral, this is a great one. It just has like a very like old, just like a nice old paper kind of quality to it. I don't know. It's really lovely. And so then I thought, maybe I don't want it to be all the rainbowy. Maybe I want to have the papery color is the background and then the rainbow as the foreground. So I don't know if you can tell, but when you're doing this stitch, your little loopy loops go to the front, but behind it, there's kind of a row of just kind of like plain Afghan or hybrid crochet, excuse me. So, you know, I tried to do this like very small window. I was like, I wonder what it would look like with the cream behind it. So I did like 3 rows to just, you know, because that's clearly going to tell me exactly what it's going to look like. And so I was waiting to I was like, and I didn't have pressure to decide because I was like, oh, she's not releasing the colors yet. So I don't want to get anybody too excited about the colors before they can even get them. So I was like, I'll just think about it. And then I found out we have a baby coming. I'm sorry. The family has a baby coming. The extended family. One of my cousins has a baby coming. And so then I was like, oh no. Maybe that needs to be in the baby blanket because wouldn't that be, like, that's such a cute, right? And it's got Emmett the Otter energy with it. And so then I was like, oh. And so there's that Pearl Soho baby blanket that's like 4, it's just a square, but it's like 4 quadrants. And I was like, oh, this would be such a cute, I mean, or is that too busy? I can't tell. I'm gonna have to consult with my other cousin who knows them better. I'm like, so now I'm really indecisive about it because I'm like, this would be so cute. These are All Lady Men Fiber Arts in their sport color, their callback, which is sport, and it's all superwash merino. And this is cherry pie, blue steel, and the grouch. But then I'm like, do I really love that blanket just because Pearl Soho has made it? And so they have used like beautiful neutrals, and that's why I actually really like it. Oh, because the other option is I could also do it like this, or I could sacrifice the paper colorway. Oh, I can't decide. It would be really cute as a baby blanket, I think. Oh, I can't decide. So now I'm stalled because I can't make a decision, which I need to because that baby's coming pretty soon. So that's all of my yarny stuff. Now I also have some, really did not work very much on my little cross stitch. I don't know if I worked on it at all, so I won't show you that. But I did start working on this stitchery. This is a design, excuse me. This is a design by, come on though, really? Oh, she's being so cranky, my phone. Remember how like you used to take forever just to get onto the internet? Now I'm like, this phone is not reacting instantly. Come on, what's the problem? So this is by Hook, Line, and Tinker. She does kits, but they even have her kits at Crimson and Tate, which is my local quilt store, which by the way is the cutest little quilt store. If you're in town, definitely check it out. I'm not paid to endorse them. But she has several cute owls, and that's where I saw it the first time, but I kind of wanted to make it on my own fabric. So you can buy the PDF, and then I just printed it onto like the Fabri-Solve, which is, you can print it in your printer, and then it's like a sticker. And then after you get all your stitching done, it dissolves. You just wash it, and it'll dissolve out. So I'm not using exactly the colors that were called for because I did not have them on hand. I am using DMC. The dark color is 500 and the lighter color is 502. And then this is the fabric itself. Can you see? Maybe you can see better on the background, in the backing, without the sticker on it. And then I think I'm going to use this for the beak, but I might use this brighter gold. I haven't decided yet. I haven't decided. But anyway, it's super cute. Favorite part so far? Lazy daisies. I love a lazy daisy stitch so much. So cute. Oh, I guess I could show you what it looks like when it's done. I'm the worst. Well, I don't want to show you that. Oh, poops. Because that shows you exactly what the stitches are. That's probably not fair. So the kit, I guess, is $30. But I think it even has the embroidery hoop in it. So there he is, all stitched up as indicated. Right? Isn't he super sweet? And so again, she has like a whole series of them, and they're that like very stylized. Oh, here's a picture of all of them together. And they're all that like very stylized 2-color, 3-color kind of jam. Aren't they so charming? I kind of want to make more of them. But let's just finish this one, lady. Settle down. I totally made a list of like things that are helping you towards your goals, things that are sabotaging your goals. And one of them was like one of the sabotaging things was researching too many things. I'm instantly like, oh, let's go buy, and also buying too many things. But I was like, oh, let's go buy some more of those and research like all what the different owls are and figure out. Just do. You have plenty of things to do. Settle down. Settle down. So yeah, that's okay. So far, what I want to know is what are your favorite warm cocktails, and also, is this too busy for a baby blanket? I can't. It doesn't. I love you. It really doesn't matter what you say. It's like that thing where I'm like, please tell me your opinion, and then I'll know how I react to it, if what my opinion actually is. Not terrible. So true, though. And then in quilting, I have okay, in quilting. So I told you last time, or I showed you last time, that I had started this little English paper piecing project. Now I hate it. It's not true. I don't hate it. It's not that I don't enjoy the paper piecing. I apparently just don't like hexagons. I don't like the way it looks. So I think what I was trying to do is, like, I had a little charm pack and I thought, oh, I'll make use of that. And really, I'm just not in love with it at all. It's just going to be like a pillow cover. But I have one more row done, and then I need to add at least 3 more rows to make it the right size. And I think maybe I think what I'm going to do is put it away. I'm going to put it away till next year, because lots of times you just need that distance, right? And then I'll be like, oh, this is totally fine. And I only have like 3 more rows. Whereas now I'm like, that sounds terrible. So yeah, I think that needs to go on hold. But the good thing about it is I really am enjoying the actual paper piecing. I just don't like the hexagons. Like, I don't like the, like, what I've realized is that I like units from paper piecing. So like the Last Homely House is doing those little like crosses. They're like a little beach hut and they fit together. I like the idea of doing units of English paper piecing. I think that is what I need to do. So I'm either going to do something similar. I'm the worst. Let's just tell you about my aspirational craft plans. Like, this is, I like, why are we even pretend, like, I'll just make everything aspirational. Like, just be all the things I'm thinking, none of the things I'm doing. That's a show, right? That's totally a thing. But in all honesty, Tales of Cloth is, she does EPP, English paper piecing patterns and kits. She's a great Instagram where if you're looking for like ideas about English paper piecing and things like that, it's a great resource. Just her Instagram is amazing. Like, she shows lots of different combinations of like the base pieces and how they look. But she also offers several patterns and or kits. And I think I am going to do something more like her. Oh, goodness. It's basically just like the 60-degree star with the 60-degree, like, did I make this up that she, okay, there it is. It's like, did I make this up that she has this quilt pattern? So this is just, I mean, this is, she specifically offers the kits that have all the pieces that, you know, but basically it's just a 60-degree star with the stars around, or diamond, excuse me, the diamonds with the diamonds around the edge. So I like the idea of being able to piece a unit. And that's what I say when I'm saying a unit. That's what I mean. Even if that's like a couple colors, like that's fine with me. But I like the idea of being able to make a unit. And what I haven't decided if I want to do her sizes, which are like kind of like bigger and chunkier, or if I want to go a little bit smaller. I haven't quite decided. So I'm still thinking on that. I also really like this one. This is called the Eden quilt. And it's very similar. It's basically the same, except it has a hexagon middle. So it gives it more of like a flower vibe than a star vibe. But I think I like the star vibe. So yeah, I'm not sure. I'm still deciding. That is, again, Tales of Cloth. And that is also her Instagram handle. So I'm glad I did this because it did let me know that I actually do enjoy the stitching part of this. I just don't enjoy the hexagons. And then also I decided that I was going to make we have like a coffee table, and I had just like a Christmas print, like a fabric on there, but it's not a quilt. And so I wanted to make a quilt for that. And so I decided, after much sketching and deliberation, did I bring my... Maybe I everywhere. Oh, it's literally right here. If it had been a snake, it bit me, as my family says. I decided after much deliberation that I was going to do a star. And I think it's a sawtooth star. That's what it's called. There's like Missouri stars, there's Ohio stars, there's so many different stars. But I believe that the agreement is this is a sawtooth star, but I'm not entirely sure because I don't know that the middle being the same as the points. Like, I'm not sure. Like, and it's not, I've looked. There's not, like, I don't see definitively, like, this is a sawtooth, this is Missouri, this is Ohio. But this is a sawtooth star. Sometimes, though, this middle part is, like, a different color. So, I think it works both ways. And lots of times, these corners are also solid blocks. But let me just discuss that lots of times I didn't want to do sashing. So sashing is when you put like rows, like strips between the blocks. I didn't want to, now that I said that, I'm like, is sashing only on the outside edges? I didn't want to put strips of fabric between the blocks. And lots of times when you set these blocks with like the solid corners, the negative space pops in a way that I didn't like. Like it sort of makes it look more like this somehow. Even though it's set like this, like for some reason my brain specific, I don't know if it's just my brain or if that's something other people experience as well. But like it's the way the space is, like this corner space, because you essentially get 4 of these corners from like next to each other. And it just starts, like you start to read it differently. Your brain reads it differently. I don't know how to explain it. So that's why I did the corners, like with half square triangles instead of solids. But, so originally I thought it would look like this. Did you just see? I also, like, after I do this, I was like, man, I don't know. That might be too much yellow. I was like, maybe what I should do is do an English paper piece, like do the corner solid, but then go back in and applique a star on that's a little bit narrower. It's still 4-point, but it's more of a star than a diamond. Yeah, that's what I'm looking for. So I made like a little one just to cover up to see like, because again, I should have made like 12 of these, but I didn't, whatever. But what I ultimately decided to do is go with this light blue, because the yellows just were, I don't know, for some reason the yellow just wasn't, yellow is kind of the secret ingredient in good quilts apparently, and I love like a goldy yellow, but for some reason it just, maybe it's because it made it look too primary. I just realized that because it's got like red, blue, and yellow. Maybe that's what was like clogging my brain about the aesthetic of it. So I decided to go with these light blue corners. And so my background, this blue and this green are all Ruby Stars Christmassy line. Festive Darlings. I don't know, whatever. Look how cute that one is. But not all of my pieces are. Like this is a background that's like kind of got a little bit of metallic to it. And then I don't have all my others done, but I have all of my pieces pieced. So now I just have to make all of my blocks. And there's only like 60 blocks because it's just for a coffee table. But like, so this is the thing that quote unquote matches that other red. This is a navy blue. And I have these with the little stars. And then I have some green polka dots. I think this is like, I think this is a, can't think, never mind. So yeah, I wanted to do some like, there's so many really cute Christmas fabrics out, but I wanted to do something that had like, that the print was not the biggest deal. Like I wanted a very small kind of, I ended up getting the green, even though this is definitely not what I would consider like a blender or like a small print, but it was a limitation of like availability. There's just like, weren't a lot of greens available. What's up with that? I did get like a Kelly green, like a solid, but I did want a little bit of print. Oh, I can't decide. So yeah, this is like the busiest print of all of them. The rest of them should read as pretty much solid-ish. So yay, I'm doing those. And so yeah, I got all my little flying geese trimmed up. I used, highly recommend, I know they're expensive, but the Block Lock trimming tools, the best. The best. It's like a little ruler that just like pops into the cornery bit of the geese, and then you can just trim around it. It's delicious. Just makes it so pleasant. Because I am not a precision piecer. Like I'm not a precision piecer. I much prefer to be less stressed about my piecing and then trim them up after. That's just me. You do you. I'm not really I'm not a person who's into perfection in quilts at all. Like I don't particularly care if like points are perfect or anything like that. But if your pieces aren't like pretty close to the same size, like those errors get compounded and suddenly like one side of your quilt is like way wonky, like way shorter than the other. And like that I don't like. Do you know what I mean? Like I don't like to be like, this is not fitting, you know, like, oh, this row is like an inch longer than this row. Like that stresses me out. I don't enjoy that at all. So I'd much prefer to have like casual piecing where I'm like, this is close-ish. Like I like to do the 4 at a time flying geese, close-ish. And then I prefer to then trim them up so that they're more precise. It's not necessarily the points and stuff line up. It's more so that like, I don't have like, again, those big errors that get compounded over an entire quilt. Because again, even if your block is only 1/16 of an inch off, like if you get 16 blocks that are 1/16 of an inch off, you got an inch off. And like, then things don't line up right. And that, like they don't line up. Not that they don't line up right. They just like do not line up. So that is not pleasant to me. So yes, I did. And I also like there. So if I have 60 blocks and I have 4 half square triangles for each one, I don't have all of them done. I only have like 180. That's true. I lied about that because I had to get more fabric. That's not completely done. I only have 180 half square triangles trimmed. That I did not enjoy as much. It's very enjoyable to trim the flying geese. I don't know why. It just is to me. It's not as fun to trim a half square triangle. I don't know, it just isn't. But again, I enjoy casual piecing. I don't like to be like when I'm piecing things. So yeah, there's that. My little Ziploc bags of quilt pieces. I don't know why I find that very enjoyable. I'm keeping them in my Mama's pie basket. So just like one of those Longaberger baskets with the pie. My Papa made her extra pie separators. I don't really, they must have like stacked them like with the lid open because like you can only fit 2 pies in one of those baskets. But like he totally has extra ones, and he also wood burned her name on all the pieces. Like on the outside of the basket, her name is wood burned, and then on the pie separators. So I'm using that as like my little active quilting basket, and it gives me much joy. I think that's all though. Okay, yes, that's all of the things. Okay. Yeah. I hope that you have, again, a restful weekend. Don't overdo it, folks. Enjoy rest. Unless you enjoy not resting. I guess there's people just enjoy like going zoom, zoom, zoom. I'm not one of those people. I hope you enjoy your weekend. I hope you find an amazing stoopy recipe one way or the other. I hope you enjoy a warm winter cocktail if that's your jam. I wish you all of these things. I hope you get like a boar shaped gingerbread somewhere. I really hope I get that too. I'm not gonna lie. I mean, I'll let you have it first because I have this, but if there's an extra, please save it for me. Just saying. Yeah. Enjoy your long nights. Enjoy them. Relish them. Embrace them. This is the feminine energy time. We are the darkness. Ooh, when's the new moon right before the solstice? We should do that. That's a good one. That's super dark. Do you love that ladies are the darkness? We're also like in charge of hearth and home, which is very funny. I like that we're the both those things. We've got layers, many layers. Also, you don't have to be in charge of any of those things. I'm just saying traditionally, in my culture, that's what we do. But I'm not saying you do your gender or not gender, whatever. I don't. You do you. I'm there for it. Yes, I'm supporting it. Fist bumping you all the way. So yeah, Annie's growling at me. She's like, "You're off topic, Mom." I know. I'm sorry. Okay. I hope you have a boar gingerbread time. And I hope your Christmas market is as loud and Oompa Loompa-y or as quiet and filled with sprinkly molds as you would like. And I will talk to you next time. Bye.